The world is a global village.
And that's because information travels beyond boundaries.
And on this morning on ITV,
we guarantee unbiased analysis on topical issues
that will educate you,
entertain you.
So join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Join us.
Every Sunday to Thursday, 7 a.m. to 10 a.m. on your ultimate news and current affairs program on television, This Morning on ITV.
Thank you for joining me. It's TMI Tuesday, and today we'll be looking at a topic which is on the 2020 gubernatorial race and how bumpy it is, looking at the road that leads us to this in Edo State. And we're looking at political parties' quest for power, the political parties' quest for all of this that has to do with having a gubernatorial candidate and also making the elections free and fair. And discussing this with me from my extreme left, I have the former executive director to the former governor of Edo State, Adams Aliyu, on media, on public affairs and social media. And also he was the deputy director in charge of communications, media and publicity in Godwin Obaseki's campaign organization. And currently is the chairman Heritage Farmers in Edo State and an APC chieftain, Prince Gregory Ogiogwa. Many thanks for coming, Prince.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Hello, Edo people.
And next to him is a public affairs analyst, one who we always have the opportunity to have him on set with us. He is Roy Orivabo, a.k.a. Voice of the Commoners. Thank you for coming, Roy.
Thank you for having me.
And of course, I have a chieftain of PDP. He is Honorable Larry Ogeva. Thank you for coming, Larry.
Thank you for having me here.
I will start with you, Larry. We're looking at the mood towards the gubernatorial race in Edo State 2020. And political watchers are of this impression that there is need for political parties to eschew embers of discordant tunes that could put internal democracy in the parties in harm's way. Or what do you have to say in this respect?
Well, thank you very much. Yes, the road to, I would say, 2020 is still not very open because INEC has not finally blown the whistle for parties to start their activities. But we are all, as human beings, we are all political animals, and so we are all getting up for 2020. Well, for me, the parties are, but within, I will talk about my own party.
Yes, of course.
PDP. PDP is prepared for 2020. We are ready, and we are also putting our house in order. Like in every association and group, you know, you have situations where people will have to, you know, air their opinions and views and, you know, try to aggregate whatever they have in mind,
yes,
you know, for the betterment of the party. A few weeks ago, about 2 weeks ago, you see the PDP leaders coming out in Edo State, you know, telling the electorate, most especially, not the party members, we were talking to the electorate, that we would not, to avoid crisis and to avoid unnecessary bickering within the party, we are not going to zone our gubernatorial and the chairmanship positions to any zone. Because we believe in internal democracy, we believe in participation, we believe that it's the people that decides the fate of the party, particularly the party members that decide the fate of the party and the direction of the party. Therefore, by, you know, trying to impose or, you know, the usual in Nigerian politics where a few leaders will get up in the morning or in the evening and just decide you will be governor, you will be the godfatherism politics. The godfather will sit down and say you will be governor, you will be minister, you will be this and that. I think PDP has learned a lesson from the past.
From the past?
We have, yeah, a very big lesson. You see today, PDP has really come of age We have learned that internal bickering, internal crisis, internal wranglings does not position you, position a party to take over government. We have metamorphosed from that politics of godfatherism, politics of imposition, politics of impunity that we are seeing today in the other parties. PDP, as it is today, has really, come of age. We have really tried to be more proactive, to be more cohesive, and to be more forward-looking. That is why when we came up with the idea of no zoning and no zoning of the party positions, we did that because we don't want any godfather or anybody to come out and tell us, tomorrow I made you governor or I made you minister, therefore you should pay homage to me. So PDP is really and very well prepared for 2020, and we are ready to take over Osadebe Avenue, which is rightfully ours.
All right. All right, thank you. Now to you, Prince Greg. We just recently, the governor of Edo State, Godwin Obaseki Nogegase, disclosed his intention to seek re-election for a second term in office. Do you see any clog in the wheel of progress in planning that out? Any clog in the way of progress?
Not necessarily so. I see the usual, democratic skirmishes here and there, but this is an election that is less than a year from now. If there was any kind of serious opposition, by now you would know. Because it takes more than a year to sell yourself to the people, to the party first of all, and then to the people. You can't bring up somebody 3, 4, 5 months, 6 months before the elections, and all of a sudden recreate a history, a political history for that person, and then go on and sell that person to the party first and then the people. Under certain circumstances, it is possible. But this governor has performed creditably well. There's no doubt about that. He's performed creditably well. Yes, that the party has come up with, certain elements with the party, within the party, have started screaming blue murder, and they've started making the charges of exclusion and marginalization. But that's normal. That's normal. Democracy is always a work in progress. Okay. It's always a work in progress, and we're always finding out new ways and new processes and methods to make both the party and government and the electorate perform better. Now, the APC, for example, undoubtedly is caught in all sorts of situations right now, starting from the last general elections. You can see that. We lost 5 states and so on and so forth. We lost quite a number of seats in the Senate and the House of Reps, all the way down to councillors and so on in different states. Now, the APC has to reposition itself. It has to learn from the lessons of what my good brother Larry Ogiva said, that the mistakes they made, because it's a stupid person that learns from experience. A wise person learns from other people's mistakes. So we should be learning from their mistakes. Unfortunately, at times we find ourselves, some people find themselves going down that same route, wanting to be godfathers, wanting to dictate, wanting to impose, and it's as if they do not understand the history of political development in Edo State. Edo State is famously individualistic and free-thinking. We have a history of ending godfatherism, very quickly. And we started it a long time ago, well before the last governor, Comrade Adams Oshomode, came on the scene. We started No Man is God before Comrade came on the scene. And that situation has not ended. Edo State, APC, will never, ever tolerate godfatherism or imposition in Edo State. It can never happen. The godfatherism concept has been killed. What we're now doing is concretizing it and putting macadam, tarmac on top of it to make sure that it can never, ever rise again within any political party. And I'm very glad that the PDP in opposition has already learned that. And they must also realize that we, who are the true progressives, and the true Democrats within the APC have also learnt that lesson, and we're not going to allow it to happen. So when my brother says that Denis Osadebe is the right place to be, it's, you know, it's a nice joke for him to make. But you know, it's a joke. You know, well, no, what I mean, you know, Government House is a progressive, supposed to be progressive. Edo State is a progressive state, and it will stay that way.
But when you say it's a nice joke, is it not the people that will decide that?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I mean, yeah, of course. But the people of Edo State are progressive. You see, they're progressive. They're not conservative. So when you want to conserve power within a certain ethos and say Denis Osadebe is yours by right, that in itself is conservation.
Progressive, who won the presidential election?
Pardon?
Okay. I think when you have the floor, you can ventilate that.
You see, so basically what I'm saying basically is this, that we within the APC, we don't have fears. We're ready to take the bull by the horns when it comes to internal democracy. We have no excuses, we have no fears, we have no apologies. We will take the bull by the horns. It doesn't matter where it's coming from, whether it's a National Working Committee in Abuja who is trying to impose anything on Edo State, it won't work. Because, first of all, we have a federal system within the government, within constitutional processes in government. We also have a federal structure of a party. So the national party cannot impose on the state working committee. The National Working Committee cannot impose on the state working committee. It won't happen. Now, Edo State is the last APC, is the only APC state in the South, and Southwest. I mean, South, and Southeast, right? It would be very, very dangerous for the National Working Committee to play with APC Edo, because Edo State is a swing state. Face the facts, we were PDP at one time for 8 years, or 9.5 years, and then we went to APC. There's nothing stopping Edo State from going back to PDP. There's nothing stopping the people in APC, the core holders of the party, moving to any political party, AA, PDP, APC, well, I mean, whatever party, and taking the entire structure of government with it. So the National Working Committee and all those people who think that they have some sort of voodoo power over APC and Edo people, they need to go and think twice. Because nobody is going to blackmail us, nobody is going to intimidate us in APC Edo. We all own this party together, and nobody can intimidate us, and nobody can force anybody on us. We will follow the rules, because all parties have constitutions. They all have laid down processes and procedures, whether it be for primaries, nomination of party officers, and so on. And those rules must be followed to the letter and to the spirit of the letter. So if anybody thinks that for some reason or the other, that they can sit down in one bedroom in Abuja and impose or try and play with the political destiny of Edo State, that person better go and have a rethink, because it's not going to happen.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that. Now, Roy, there's this impression held by some political watchers that the seemingly feud that is within the party, a ruling party in Edo State, APC, seem to have a negative pull on the effect of the re-election of the possible election of the governor of Edo State. What do you make of that?
To me, you know, I am one of those persons who have sentiment for the incumbent governor. Therefore, you understand my thinking. And my love for him is based on principle and strong conviction. One, in terms of performance, in terms of management of government and governance, in terms of radical approach and innovation in government and governance. You know, it is a movement. His approach to government and governance is a movement, a radical one, different from what we are used to. And some persons are not comfortable with that kind of order. Yours sincerely, when I was contesting for governor, these are some of the policies I also have, and I believe that we must move from that angle to another new angle, because we cannot continue to do things the same way and expect different results. It's not possible. And some of us put in that clear. It is not about me. I keep on telling people it's not about Oriwa, it's about Edo State. If Edo State is, we are good and the policies are working, the urban generation will understand it. I have never wanted to be in government since I was born. Therefore, I'm still living comfortably, and I thank God being the commoner that I'm happy as a commoner. I find myself as the voice of the commoner. But that does not mean that we should not look issues on its merit. One, democracy was not formulated by Nigerians. If we are ready to practice democracy, we must adhere to the principles and details and doctrines of democracy. In a civilized democracy across the globe, using America as a case study, there is no time any incumbent president or governor in America is in position and is seeking, have an aspiration for a second tenure, that the party will rise against that candidate. It have never happened in the history of America. And Nigeria, since we are also practicing a democracy, when an incumbent governor is interested, the party naturally is supposed to rally around him. But it's a different ballgame, call for a serious concern. Call for a concern because it now becomes very, very personal. One, you engage the incumbent on performance. If it is not doing well in that direction, you come up with superior argument in terms of how have you managed and applied the resources. How have you been able to formulate policies? How have you been able to implement program for the benefit of all? These are not the issues. Those who believe that the incumbent is not good to go with for second tenure, they have not been able to raise issue on performance.
Absolutely.
They have not been able to raise issue on management of fund. They have not been able to say, these are the issues. And some of us begin to wonder, what really are the issues? It's politically subordinate for a member of a party to be telling the incumbent governor or the incumbent president not to sit for second tenure, especially when he's interested. Even very just now, despite the plan and will that some persons believe that the incumbent president was not doing enough, when he immediately he signaled interest, all other forces collapse. That is democracy. Go to America now, even as people believe that Trump is not doing well. Trump is saying, I'm going for second tenure. You are seeing the Republicans are rallying around it. These are mature, this is a mature democracy, and people are following suit. It will be very dangerous for anybody to think that when an incumbent is interested, that they can have their way. One, the population of Kakari member of parties, in a party in Edo State, the Kakari member, none is up to 100,000. None is up to 100. Forget all these sentiments. None is up to 100,000. It tells a Kakari member of a party. If you are doubting me, you go back to the result we have had over the years. It tells a governorship election. How many persons have voted? If you have a member, if you think you have a member up to 200,000 that's a Kakari member of party, but I'm telling you that party is lying in Edo State. The people who vote are the commoners like us who want to embark on 4 hours drive to our village to go and cast our vote because we believe in the process. The bourgeois who preside over political party, history have shown us that some of them will sit there in their home and be drinking champagne, making calls to the boys on the field. We have seen it. Where even a state chairman of a party, a popular party in this town, was not able to cast his vote at home, eating pounded yam, drinking champagne. Then the commoners were on the streets because one, the policy of the government will directly affect their children. The bourgeois children are not here, therefore they are not bothered about the policy the government will implement. When their children are in foreign land, they are schooling there. Therefore the economy does not really affect them directly. That is the reason why when I look at political party, people begin to say the parties have population to win election. No political party have population to win election in Nigeria. You understand me? And the people who just are people who are not even interested in parties. On the day of election, they want to go out to go and vote. When you look at those percentages, you will know that no single political party should be carried away that is too popular, that they have the crowd to win a governorship election. It is the people that determine. On the strength of this, I want to tell Edo people that this is a time for all of us to have a critical overview of how we have been managed over the years. Let's look at issue on its merit. What is there and what is not there. And that's the reason why I was very happy that when my brother here, Larry Ogeva, was talking about the repositioning of PDP, I smile because they have seen it all. I smile. You know, they have been there. They have been out of there. Therefore, they know what to do. Then the APC as a party who, because they have the incumbent power, the governor is with them, who's supposed to be more relaxed, are the ones that are even now shaking. Why? Because on selected few want to have overriding power over the generality of Edo people. Okay. We are saying no to that. We're not shaking, no. No, it's not about the shaking of the party. Don't get it wrong. What I'm just saying is that it's an artificial instigation to give the impression that the governor is not doing anything. Therefore, let us proceed to solve it. Okay. You understand me? Okay. The governor, no, is not shaking. That's the reason why I say it's an artificial instigation. It's just a mere manipulation, giving the impression that are not there, a mere mirage.
Yeah.
You know, giving factories that are not there.
Okay, thank you. Let's look at the drive of your party in getting Osadebe Avenue, like you said, and the very records that is strict before the governor, looking at the recent honor given to the governor by the NUT as the best performing governor of the year in the educational sector. Don't you think that the governor ends this?
Well, I want to address two issues. I will address your question and address the other issue. The National Working Committee of any party has a right, has the sole right to determine the functionalities of the parties in the state. So anybody within a state, any politician within a state who says the nation has no right, has no power to do anything, is just making a very huge mistake.
That's absolutely wrong.
I'm a member of PDP National Executive Committee, and I know the PDP Constitution. I know there's a little difference between the PDP and APC Constitution.
So you don't know much about that of the APC?
No, I know much about it. I said there's a little difference. There's just a little difference between the PDP Constitution. These are constitutions written by the same group of people. Those who wrote the APC Constitution were former PDP. So they left PDP, went to form APC or merge with other parties, and wrote the same constitution. So it's some of the same thing. So for anybody to say APC, the National Working Committee of APC has no right of taking the decision on what affects the states, it's just a mistake. It's like somebody telling you the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria does not supersede the Constitution of the state laws. So what I'm going to say
is, don't the people of the state have a right on who they want to govern them and who they want to be the candidate of the party?
Power belongs to the people. Power belongs to the people.
So how do you navigate through with this?
You see, let me PDP failed because
I'll come back to you.
You see, the truth of the matter is this: I will leave their own internal crisis to them to manage. I will not want to delve into that. Back to the questions you asked. You see, it is only when you have not held positions in government, or you have not been a governor before, or you have not held any important government position, you don't know that people come to you with different type of awards. Somebody will come to you and say, okay, because he wants to get money from you, and say, oh, because you are you smile so well, we are giving you the best smiling man of the year. So, and you go and publish it and go to newspapers and publish, you know, I'm the most handsome or most beautiful woman or whatever, and because of that I've been awarded. So it's just, that is just very, very mundane and very, very pedestrian for a governor to say the best performing governor of the year. What is best performing? We have primary schools that are having leaking roofs in this state. We have primary schools where children are still sitting on the floor. We have primary schools where children, when it's rains, they are sitting inside the rain. We have roads that are done, that are washed away by rain. We have, today you can't go through some certain parts of Edo. It's not just easy to just say, I'm doing roads, I'm constructing roads, and when it rains, you can't even go anywhere. You see, we are, as human beings, particularly we Africans, we are megalomaniacs. We like to be praised. When you are sitting in the office, people praise you, you think that's the end of it all. And that is wrong. We are seeing what is happening in Chile today. We are seeing in some other South African, South and Central American countries, where people are now on the streets protesting against the government because the government believes that they are doing what is right. So for anybody to tell me the governor got an award for being the best, what teachers give you, the teachers that are suffering?
Okay, are you by that saying that based on the revenue accrued to the state, the governor is not judiciously using it in that direction?
Of course I'm saying it. You see, great performance
without any basis or any foundation.
Please, you see, I am not in APC, I'm not in government.
So where do you get the basis or foundation
Excuse me, the basis is, I am a man on the street, I see performance. When you see performance, I travel to other states in this country. I'm not only based in Edo. I travel outside the Edo state. When you see performance, you see performance. You see, let me tell you something. I am just saying it. The governor, I don't have anything personal with him. He's not my enemy. He's not my friend. He's the governor of the state, and so I respect him. But I want to advise him, as a person who wishing well, that don't allow people pump your ego to the extent of, biting the fingers that fed you. I don't support godfatherism. I don't support imposition. Anybody that knows me will tell you Larry Ogeva is a rebel because I hate injustice and oppression. But the point is this: you see, if you don't want to dine with a leprous person, they don't prepare food and invite him to the table. If you don't want to dine with a leprous person, don't prepare food and call him to the table. You have used the Agberos. When you were contesting the governorship, you used the Agberos. You used the leadership of the party. You never told them when I get there, I'm going to rubbish people. Now you've used these people. Now you say you want to, you don't change your system.
Well, I thought you didn't want to get into the internal affairs of APC.
I'll come back to you.
Because it's the question he asked me that the governor got an award and the governor does that not show that the governor is working. So I'm just trying to answer the question. So the point I'm trying to raise is this. Giving you awards does not necessarily make you the best man around.
Okay, thank you.
At times you can even be given awards just to push you, particularly when a particular clique are beneficiaries or your beneficiaries. Of course, they will continuously praising you, divert your attention. We see what is happening at the federal government of Nigeria. Okay. We see what is happening where the president came out and telling Nigerians, if you want to see the ministers, if you want to see me, go through Abakari. What are we talking about?
What is wrong with that?
All right, exactly.
You made your point clear. You made your point clear. I give you the floor to ventilate your reactions on that.
You know, my brother Larry is a great thinker in many, many regards. But in his last submission, fell quite short of that. First of all, he made one phrase about that the governor's ego shouldn't be so pumped up that he bites the fingers that fed him. Where does that come from? Who are the fingers that fed the governor? That is the thinking of the PDP. It's that mentality that they've always had, that there are fingers that will feed you. Don't bite those fingers. You must be grateful to them. And therefore, and he's saying that they've gotten away from godfatherism and imposition.
Yes,
that is exactly the same background. When I was saying he had no basis of foundation, that is the basis of foundation of the PDP thinking, where they support subconsciously, because it is part of their culture, to have godfathers and to have, you know, if you even come to
who is having godfather today?
No,
even
whichever godfather you talk about, even the godfather that you are talking about,
must you kill them?
No, who is killing who?
And if you are changing the system, you have to tell the people who
is killing
No, it should not make reference that the basis of PDP.
You can always react when it gets to your time, because while you were talking, he tried his best to maintain his cool, so he has the floor. Let him finish.
He also went on to say that the governor used Agberos. He used party leaders. Look, Agberos are transport workers. No matter how you want to translate the word Agbero, they are transport workers. They have legitimate rights to participate in the political system. So do teachers. Now, him saying that the teachers, that you know, anybody can give you any clique. That was the phrase he used. Any clique can give you an award. Yes. Are you calling the teachers of Nigeria, National Union of Teachers, one of the largest bodies of people who educate our children, a clique? I mean, to say that is demeaning to them, and to say that their values.
That's not what I said.
No, you said a clique can call you, you know, and give you any kind of award, whether you are the most smiling man or the most handsome man. They can give you any award in order to push their own agenda. That's what you said.
Very well.
So you are saying that the National Union of Teachers are a clique whose values are only to just promote themselves, and in order to do so, they will call any gullible governor and give him an award. That's what you were saying. You are demeaning, first of all, the National Union of Teachers. You are demeaning their values.
Don't let
and in fact, no.
You are playing politics. And if
I'm not playing politics. No, it's politics we are doing here. That's what we're doing. We are all politicians and we're discussing politics. You are demeaning the National Union of Teachers. You are diminishing their values, which means that their values as to choosing who the best governor in Nigeria is in terms of education.
Okay,
that those values, you know, and so on and so forth. Now, the bottom line is this. What Governor Obaseki has done in the educational sector is unparalleled across Nigeria. Unparalleled. And he built on the tradition of Comrade Oshomole. As a matter of fact, it is not possible for anywhere. He went on to talk about streets are flooded in Dallas as of this morning. Streets are flooded.
Yes,
if you go to Australia, streets are flooded. Go to Tokyo, streets are flooded. Dubai, you know, and so on and so forth. Where in the world does environmental change and climate change is not affecting? Where in the world? Look at the hurricane in all over the Bahamas. And so no. See, my brother, you see, we're not saying that, you know, we cannot always do better. We can always do better. But you cannot blame environmental and climatic change on one governor. Because, you know, there are going to always be governors and going to always be climatic. Of course, we can do better. We can find ways to manage these things. Educationally, we are doing very well in Nigeria. Look at our debt profile, for example. They used to say, opposition, both internal APC opposition and PDP, would say that the government, that Edo State is owing so much money. They released the list of, you know, the debts of the states. Edo State is nowhere near the first 7. And the amount of repayments that this particular administration has made over the last 3 years is awesome.
I can't listen to this.
So you find out
those debts?
You find out that no, those are the fingers that fed him that you are referring to now.
No,
when you're saying fingers that fed you. No, it's true because what fingers?
No, money. Was it not the chief economic advisor of the state?
I think we shouldn't have a rowdy discussion.
No, if you should.
Whatever he's saying, just take note of it, so that when it comes to your point of discussing that, then you bring that up.
When they are all out there in a rush to either pull down the governor or the government or the party, they keep forgetting that there's a total dynamics in the situation. It's not everybody in the party that is in government. And the governor himself is not representative of everybody in the APC, because you have different trends and different strains within the APC. The APC is a congress, not a political party. People keep forgetting that. All progressives congress. A congress is different from a political party in that a congress is a conglomeration of different political parties, the CPC, AMPP, and parts of the PDP and so on. So you have different tendencies, ideological tendencies. And in the melding and meshing of these ideological tendencies, you're going to have differences. So even within Edo State APC, you have people that were in CPC and people that were in the AMPP and people that were in the PDP. And so for you to now come and say that the APC is, we are all Edo politicians. I was in the PDP at one time, you know, and I am in the APC now. Who knows what will happen tomorrow? But what remains constant, what remains constant is the desire to move our society. No, what remains constant is our desire to move society forward. Because party labels, what we have found out is that people use party labels and party logos to hold you ransom and say that you have to support your party even when what your party is doing is wrong.
Okay, you still have the floor, Greg. Let's look at the recent shake-up in the cabinet of the governor and suspension of some local government chairmen and that of the state APC secretary. Now, do you see this as a move to kind of take out moles and for the governor to have a foothold in the grassroots ahead of the re-election bid?
I really cannot grasp that, because from what I understand, the feelers from the national party is that party supremacy is the way to go.
Yes.
So if party supremacy is the way to go, and the National Working Committee or the national party has a template with which to deal with certain situations, why are they forbidding or precluding the state working committees from adopting the same template of imposing what you call party discipline? Why are they doing that? Party supremacy at state level. Why are they saying that the party at state level cannot have party supremacy over its officials and the conduct of its political players, but at the national level you can do that? That's double standards and that's hypocrisy, and it will not stand. You see, my brother made a point earlier on that when he said that the National Working Committee has no power over the State Working Committee. I think
he said they have power.
Yeah, he says they have power over the State Working Committee.
And overriding influence.
That they determine and they dictate. I believe that my brother did not necessarily look at the spirit of the Constitution. Because there's one thing, the words say one thing, the spirit also, you know, reaffirm those words, you know. Now, the National Working Committees only work on the recommendation of state working committees. Whatever process, whether it is the form of primaries to be taken and so on, it is the state working committee that recommends to the National Working Committee. The National Working Committee cannot override the state working committee, cannot impose, and cannot tell them what to do, what form of primaries that they think is best for that state. They can't do that under the law. And that's why I emphasize that the parties are governed by constitutions and by processes and orders and conventions. And those things are going to be adhered to strictly in word and in spirit. So for anybody to think that a National Working Committee can sit down and decide somewhere in Abuja that this is what is going to happen in Edo State, that person is living in a world of fantasy.
Okay, let's look at your viewpoint in this, in respect of the influence of the National Working Committee over the state.
The National Working Committee of a party, haven't presided over a party for a very long time, you know. I've also been a member
of a committee of a party at the highest level. You know, these things you are mentioning are just merely nomenclature. These are not spirits. Human beings operate all those things. Therefore, they must have a recourse to the primary base, which is the state. Any decision they want to take, they must look at the state. The critical example is I look at Kogi. Very just now, there was apprehension in Kogi. You understand? When some people will say the Ikube will not go, but the Ikube say I'm interested. And the National Working Committee of APC, in their wisdom, after evaluation, they say let's come out with a policy that will favor this man. And they now resort to indirect voting. And on the strength of that, the Ikube is still there now contesting. You know, and some of us we saluted their courage for that. Because one, you must respect that power of an incumbent governor. It's quite very fundamental in constitutional democracy. You understand me? One will naturally also expect them to look at Edo State and say, this is what we are going to do for the betterment of Edo people. One, you agree with me that Edo people are politically sophisticated. Because we are only the state that have looked at it at a time and said we can no longer be under PDP because we believe they were not doing well as at then.
Now you believe
no, we pull out. Edo people pull out. It was a movement. Therefore, if there is, why? Because there was power we were seeing that were not really power. People were not laying claim to God. A critical example for what is trying to rear is ugly again. When some people who believe that they are too powerful, they can manipulate anything manipulatable. You understand me? They were there, and those people, we took a stand. That since you say you are playing God, let us now use our power. And we were able to do that. And we will not also hesitate again. If the people in Abuja also take a decision to dare us in Edo State, we will not hesitate.
Absolutely.
To say this is where we are going. The power belongs to the people.
When you said we will not hesitate, are you speaking as a party member?
As an Edo, I told you, Edo is the project. Edo is our identity. And Edo is the reason why all of us is here. What connects me and Prince Ogegwa is because it's an Edoma. What connects me and Prince Ogegwa is because it's an Edoma. And that's the reason why you can see their presentation so far. Both are being government. Both are being system. They have benefited and enjoyed from the largesse. You can see the way they were trying to personalize the issue because they know where they are coming from.
Who is the biggest man here?
You understand me? But yours sincerely, who have been very, very neutral. You know, being on the side of the people.
I'm very comfortable.
Aggregating opinions.
Please ask the question, who is the biggest man here?
It is not by size. No, it is not by size. In my family, if you see my father, you will know that this is our size.
So it's not by what you take in.
Multi-generational talking.
You know, the issues are quite very, very germane. And that was the reason why when he talks about the award issue, when Larry talks about the award issue, when you were also reacting, I say it's an issue of understanding. To me, what he said is that if they see you that you are a smiling man, you smile too much, they decided to give you an award. It shows to me that you merit it because that your smile, you do it very well. You understand me? That is that is a perfect one. Anything you are doing well and people desire to reward you, my brother, it's on merit.
Absolutely.
It's on merit. On the strength of that, the award given to the governor was on merit. And that he have also testified to.
Okay, your final words on this.
That the governor. And I must also tell you, you are the moderator. There is a very hidden agenda from you to continue to submerge me. You keep on, because the opportunity you give to the bourgeois is different from what you are giving to the common.
But you still have the floor.
I am not comfortable with that.
I'm not taking that time from you.
You know, there is no even representation. You are supposed, after dealing with Larry, you deal with Red, but you see the way you have been trying to choke me. You know, that is not good.
Okay, if you have that impression about me, I apologize for that.
Okay.
But you still have the floor. Go ahead. You still have the floor.
It's not my brother. You know, the issue one, Edo State belong to Edo people. No one single individual can take appropriate power to himself.
Correct.
Because the strong men you are saying, you refer to strong men. It is people that make them to be strong. If you are a big man, you believe you are a big man, you don't have regard for your driver, you are deceiving yourself. At the middle of the road, he can have the car and say, take over your car. Therefore, we all have the rules we are playing according to Edo State. No one man is a superman. The people that makes you to be there, you must have regard for them. And those people must be able to take what belongs to them. And that is our state. Whichever way they are coming from, we should be able to tell them no. If the governor, the incumbent governor, is interested in second tenure, it is politically wrong. It is politically wrong. I re-emphasize it. For any group of people to say we want to truncate his ambition. Go to civilized democracy, they practice it. If the man, if he does the strength of lack, if he's not performing, that's a different ballgame. We will also be looking at that.
All right.
And the issue raised so far is not based on performance.
I recall the statement of the governor where he said that he prioritizing mental infrastructure over stomach infrastructure. Don't you think that is where all of these sentiments, issues are coming from as you round off?
Well, I want to quickly add this to it. I'm very happy that the three of us has agreed that the EDO is our project.
Definitely.
Therefore, the interest of the EDO people should be foremost on our minds. And the PDP has positioned itself to represent the people well. We have now seen...
And make stomach infrastructure at the back seat.
Yes, of course, not even at the back seat. It doesn't even belong to
out
our
of the
vehicle.
vehicle.
Yes, it doesn't belong to the vehicle.
Okay.
So the point I'm trying to raise is this. The parties as it is, as it stands, the EDO people have seen PDP at its worst. We have seen APC at its best. Now, in a society, in a sense that they have been talking about the American democracy, British democracy, and so on and so forth, always making allusions and references to the Western democracy. You see, if we really want to be sincere with ourselves, the Western democracy is not a part of our culture. It's anti-cultural to us.
Okay, thank you.
I'm coming, please.
Thank you. You have less than 10 seconds.
Okay, the problem is this: that PDP as it is today, we are ready, we are prepared, we have grown, we have repositioned ourselves to lead and to allow the people of Edo State to lead us. And we are going to, by God's grace, God's willing, and by God's power, we have repositioned ourselves and we are going to take over the Osadebe Avenue come 2020.
Okay, Greg, you have a minute to round off.
Right. Number one, Larry, no vacancy for Dennis Osadebe.
Don't worry.
Forget it.
No
vacancy. That's number one. Number two, I can tell you today that the APC is going to come together, because there are three types of primaries. There's consensus, there's direct, there's indirect. People keep talking about direct and indirect. We are going for consensus. We have conceded that there's no vacancy in government house, and that Godwin Obaseki is our candidate 2020. Anybody who doesn't like it should build a bridge and go over and go across that bridge to wherever they want to go. But Godwin Obaseki is the consensus candidate of APC for the reasons that he has performed creditably well. For the reasons that he has mass acceptance amongst the people. For the reason that, like my brother said, he has changed the dynamics of Edo politics.
All right,
mental infrastructure is important, because if you build the industries and you build the factories, who's going to work there?
Okay,
Where are the people? And that is the way to go. So no vacancy in Dennis Osadebe, and consensus candidate Godwin Obaseki for 2020.
Thank you, Greg, and of course, thank you, Roy and Larry Ogiba. There's the most we can take on the discussion segment. It's still TMI Tuesday. Don't you go away.